Welcome back to the 77%, being coming to you live from the University of Benin. As you can see, both the emotional temperature in the room has gone up and the physical temperature in the room has gone up. And at this juncture, I want to bring in a young lady from Edo State by the name of Rachel to ask a question. Please try and be brief.
Okay. Now, my question is related to Mr. Solomon. You said people that go out, the returnees, they're giving money to actually start a life after they come back. So you're not saying we that are in the country that actually need the funds, we cannot get anything until we go outside first before we get something. No, I don't understand. Because we actually need the money here. So are we supposed to first of all try and kill ourselves, trying to go outside before we can actually have the government answer?
Yeah, Mr. Solomon.
Answer the question. You don't really need to go out before you get anything, but all you need to know is to get appropriate information concerning.
Please allow him to answer.
Concerning the programs the returnees are placed. Now, there is what is called Anchor Borrowers Program of the Central Bank. This program is going on, and you can go. So what you need to do as a student, you can form a cooperative. There are ways you can go about it and ensure that yes, that fund will be given to you. So if you don't, nobody will call you and say yes, you are, because you are in school, you need money, come and take money. So you form a cooperative of a particular of a particular name. You don't need to register. Go to a Ministry of Commerce and Industry. They will register it for you. Then thereafter, you apply for a loan. There are a loan of.
Okay, but Solomon, I think the concern here is that it's especially difficult for people who are choosing to stay in Nigeria to get access to these funds compared to people who have left.
I don't think so. If you I don't think so. Then I am challenging you. And I am challenging you now. You take that step and find out if that is if it's real or not. You don't need to know the governor. You don't need to know the political leaders. All you need to do is to get yourself illegally organized, go approach that institution, and then you get your grant.
You might not have heard what he said, but he says he challenges you to dare. Ajuri, do you have another question? Okay, it looks Ajuri doesn't have a question over there. Do you have another question?
Absolutely, I do. I have with me a man by the name of Champion. I want to ask you to be brief. Please address your question to a member of our panel.
My name is Champion from Benson, also University. And I don't actually have a question, I have more of a solution. You know, they keep saying that young people are actually not involved with the politics in the government. This is the reason for this, because the people in the government are actually getting really old. You see offices like secretary, they're being given to old people like 50 to 70 years old. So my solution, why don't you give those kind of offices to more able people? The problem with Nigeria is not only corruption, it's more of incompetence. It's not as if they don't want to do the job, they just don't know how to. The people that are in the job, some of them might not even know how to use a computer. They might not even know how to use a phone, no access simple things like Google. So if they're saying that there are no jobs in Nigeria, what if we now come and say, little jobs, the ones that are paying less, we give them to youths. We start them at very low level. So at the end of the day, they will grow up, they will be promoted, and then we have a full government of well-educated people, rather than just having, a group of people that they're not keeping up with the generation.
Okay, Champion, in the interest of time, thank you. You're saying self-empowerment, I hear you. And as Ajuri is looking for another question, I do want to invite you, Elizabeth Atibie, because there was a question earlier. The young people in this room are saying, show us what you're doing. Where is the proof in the pudding?
Thank you so much. As a former youth leader in this state and in the country, I stand in a better position to assess the past, to talk about now, and to recommend for the future. When we were growing as young people, we were being cared for by government and the society. Apparently. Because there's no youth here who you expect to just wake up one morning and say, I want to do this business. He will just go into it. He has to be mentored by somebody. He has to be shown a direction. And that we had through our voluntary youth organizations. You have the Boy Scout, you have the Girl Guide, you have the Man of War, you have the faith-based organizations. Then in the university, you have all sorts of clubs. And in these clubs, we have professional people who are youth development officers. Youth development is not a business of an administration in the office. is a business of a trained youth development officer who will follow up these youth and bring them to understand what he's talking about forming a cooperative and getting this. That youth development officer will be in the fulcrum of that arrangement.
Right,
that becomes fruitful.
Let me allow the people in the audience to respond to what you've just said. Ajuri.
One of the major issues that has come alive during this debate is the issue of coordination and synergy amongst non-government and government stakeholders. And I want to bring in a young lady on that note who, ironically, is named Young. Please, Young, if you can just rise. We have a young lady by the name of Young here who has a question for a member of our panel.
This question is directed to Sister Bibiana. I don't know whether I got the name right. You talked about an alternative. You said people that are victims of human trafficking, you educate them, you try to encourage them that they still have hope of living. But what actual means are you planning on providing a means of them surviving? Because of the only thing you actually said is education. And believe me when I say that it's not in all cases that education works out. If there is no actual alternative, then they have no other choice but to fall back to human trafficking and become slaves or sex victims. Thank you.
Okay, Sister Bibiana. The question was to you. As religious institutions, what more can you do to help empower the youth? Ladies and gentlemen, please let's allow Sister Bibiana to respond.
You got the question?
Thank you very much. I think the church is doing enough to empower the youth. And in the sense that sometimes the youth, the institute of form a club or a society in the church that from time to time they organize something like a human skill where they can learn something to help themselves. Again, the church has done a lot in education, in training the people, training the youth to be self-reliant. And then the church has trained the youth too to be trustworthy. Because sometimes the problem we have in this country, if you mean it, sometimes we are graduates, but we cannot defend your paper. One story, I employed a graduate in my office, but I gave him an assignment. He was not able to perform it. And yet in his credential, and the best result in the university. So the problem is, can the youth and the church bend down to learn something and change our mindset? And once that is done, at least, even if you start from the small, you will be able to do something. But we always aiming high. And then at the end, you will not achieve what you want.
Thank you, Sister
So
Bibiana.
that's what the church is doing.
Ajuri, do we have any questions from this end of the room? Or you're...
Absolutely, but before we do, I want to bring in a member of the student union government of the University of Benin currently who wishes to respond to Ms. Ativie's submission. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Standing before you is Godwin Okafor, the PRO of student union government. Let me quickly say this. We are seeing this debate from one angle. I want us to see it from another angle. First, we know that the government, the system is not working fine. But even at that, if you are sincere, I want us to see it from another angle, that some persons, even if you give them 1 million, you give them 5, they will still do what they want to do.
Mindset.
That's one. And also, and also, for the youth, like our brother said, the businessman said, he made himself. He searched out or he looks at a problem and solved. So what have we done? We should ask ourselves that question. I think let's come from where our mama. Okay. Let us come from that angle and see for ourselves a way of us taking care of ourselves. Imagine Nigeria as your father and your father failed. Because your father failed, you want to fail? No.
Thank you very much.
I don't believe that Nigeria has failed.
Thank you for that.
I don't believe.
I can see
We
quite
can
a
do
few hands
better.
at this end. Ajuri, I don't know if you can get there in time.
I didn't believe that.
But as Ajuri is
we
trying
can
to
do
cross
better.
over and get to the other end, I would like to give Divine an opportunity to answer the question which was posed. You know, he's asking, what are the youth doing? Are you able to, you know, how much responsibility should you take, not just as a young person, but as a civilian?
Okay, thank you very much. I think from the question he asked, he was talking about what the youth...
Ladies and gentlemen, please.
He was talking about what the youths can do.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier on, and she has said, the issue of youths in the country is over 77% in Nigeria. Let us not just look at Edo State. Like I will always reinstate that Edo State is a case study, as we have so many youths also in different states. For instance, I am from Kogi State, and I will tell you categorically that the government of Kogi State are not doing anything. You get it? Now, what am I saying? Whatever I'm saying here is not just for youths in Edo State. Let us look back at youths in Nigeria as a whole. Nigeria, to me, even government has said Nigeria has not failed. Because we are the Nigeria. Let me tell you, 10 years, 20 years from now, this set of